And just like that, the saga comes to an end.
Rhea! Please!
What please? We just killed her.
You're here, Mother.
Okay. Yeah, let's definitely save so we don't have to do that again, but man. She transformed back into her fully garbed self, and I'm fairly certain...
A rising flame was alight as the flow of time carved a new history for Fodlan. Rhea's wild rampage was put to an end, averting what could have been the greatest crisis in the history of Fodlan. After 5.5 years of war, a new age was set to begin. The Empire, Kingdom, and Alliance, all political structures that had once shaped the continent, were gone. A unified nation began to take shape under the watchful eye of the Church of Seiros. The Church's new leader became a champion of the people, working tirelessly to help them overcome the horrors of war and to carve out a path towards reconstruction. Just as Saint Seiros tended to those who suffered in wars of the past, Fodlan's new ruler embraced their role as mother of all life and arbiter of every soul.
So we brought everybody united under the Church's banner.
Finally, you came. Wars begin and end, but this place never changes. And you don't change either.
Neither do you.
That's true. We fought to bring peace to Fodlan, but peace is so boring.
Yeah, if we're the new leader and we've united everybody and erased all borders, within Fodlan at least, then we can't go around mercenarying like I thought we would.
No more chances to swing my sword at enemies, no more life-threatening battles. I know that these are positive developments, but I'm still a warrior at heart. Here I am, watching sadly as my blade grows dull.
I feel the same.
You do? That's a relief. We're cut from the same cloth, you and I.
Yeah, if there was a post-game, I'd be jumping right into it.
And on that note, I'll tell you why I asked you to come here.
I think we know.
Take this.
Felix.
Without a worthy opponent like you at my side, not only will my sword grow dull, it'll rust. So I had to think of a way to make sure you'd always be with me. This is what I came up with. And... You're pretty slow on the uptake. Don't you know what this ring means?
Yeah, let's get hitched. I want to hear you say it, though.
If you keep messing around, I'll... Fine. Listen carefully. I'm not going to say this more than once. I want you to be my wife. Please say yes. Let's get married and stay together until we die. I love you. That's all.
He's gonna leave? Yeah, wait.
What? You have something to complain about?
Holy crap. Okay, so they're... It's all... Where are we at? This is definitely not the training room. Okay, I love you too. And I accept.
Oh. Okay then. In that case, I'd better start planning for the future. My future. With you.
Now this ending better not be Lestelle stayed at home barefoot and pregnant for the rest of her life. Well, speaking of ending. Battle data. Let's see. White clouds, an inevitable encounter, a skirmish at dawn. 7 turns. Rivalry of the houses. 11 turns. 18 turns. Yes, these are going to be some ridiculous turn counts because I do play on Hard Classic. I am not the best Fire Emblem player you're ever going to see in your entire life, though. See? 28 turns. The whole... that Miklon nonsense came out of nowhere. The Underground Chamber, 22 turns. Battle of the Eagle and Lion, 16 turns. The Ramire Calamity, 10 turns. Sword and Shield of Saros, 18 turns. That was a paralog. Oh, it also shows the order we did the paralogs in, too. That's awesome. The Cause of Sorrow, Tales of the Red Canyon, Caspar. Rumor Nuptials. The Forgotten. Yes, that... Oh my... Saros, help us, that paralog. Oil and Water, The Sealed Forest Snare, True Chivalry, Conflict in the Holy Tomb. Most of these are Lestelle, because Lestelle is pretty busted. Petra, there we go. Petra's first time being MVP was after the time skip? Oh, one with Ingrid. Catherine. Lestelle again. Ready to take her rightful place on the throne. Catherine once more, because she's kind of OP. Sylvain. Huh. The N-Bar infiltration. Then Felix got his time to shine also. Oh, and right after. Stand Strong at Shambhala and the final battle, which took 32 turns. Because, crap. Rhea in that form was friggin' ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Alois. Once all the fighting had come to an end, Alois officially took up the position of captain of the Knights of Saros. In this capacity, he was much beloved, and the Knights became more unified than ever under his command. It is said that their accomplishments during his tenure were beyond even what Gerald's troops had achieved. Yeah. After the war, Ash was formally knighted and appointed the new head of House Gaspard, which had no successors. His warm, sincere attitude towards his subjects was praised all over Fodlan, and Ash was finally recognized as the ideal knight he'd always hoped to be. His deeds live on in countless tales. Wow, that's a lot of hype for someone who did nothing, but... Though Fodlan had changed, Hanuman's goal remained unwavering, to determine the workings of the crests and to do away with the inequality caused by them. To that end, his research resulted in magical tools that could be used even without the aid of crests. This proved to be yet another worthwhile discovery by the father of Crestology. 16 battles and 5 victories. I wonder if that includes him being an adjutant. Sedith remained at the monastery and worked to restore the authority of the Church of Saros. Doing away with its old strictness, he adopted a tolerant stance toward all. His encouragement of believers to respect those of other faiths helped the people of Fodlan to find common ground with others. she did a lot more fighting, but Manuela left Garrick Mach to build her own academy in a small war-torn town. There she contributed heavily to rebuilding efforts while teaching future generations the necessary skills of survival. Though she never married or had children of her own, she spent the last years of her life happily devoted to her students. So I'm wondering if this is going in order of usage? Yeah, I think it is. Unable to serve Rhea any longer, Cyril nearly left the church. He was persuaded to stay, however, to assist in rebuilding the monastery he had helped maintain. Thanks to his devoted work ethic, the Officers' Academy was able to reopen a few years later. When the new students took to the reception hall, Cyril found himself among them. Oh! He actually was able to attend Garrick Mach! That's awesome! Flame disappeared soon after the war, and over time it was all but forgotten that she had ever existed. Many long years later, however, a young woman resurfaced in a completely transformed Fodlan. When she looked to the man who stood beside her, she wondered if it would be alright in this new era to call him father. What? I don't get that one. When Galatea territory was seized, Ingrid argued strongly for the preservation of its borders. Her request was granted, and she was appointed to rule. From her new position, she gave her all to ensure that the people of Galatea lived peaceful lives and put in years of hard work to reform its farming practices. Her efforts bore fruit, to the people's delight, and Galatea became a land of plenty. Well, that's nice. No, this can't be going in order. We used her basically a whole lot, Leone. Leone joined up with the mercenaries formerly led by Gerald. As his greatest apprentice, she quickly took on a leadership role and eventually inherited the title of Bladebreaker. She came to be known as Gerald II, as she began to resemble him in all things, including his drinking habits. She left behind many unpaid tavern tabs. What is the order here? Catherine left the Knights of Seiros and set out to travel across Fodlan. With Thunderbrand in hand, she wandered the countryside, seeking always to defend the innocent and punish the wicked. Her many years of heroics ensured that she would always be remembered by the people as a beloved folk hero. Yeah, we got a lot of use out of Catherine. Free Knight. After the war, Caspar set out alone on a journey of self-discovery. He traveled to every corner of Fodlan and even ventured abroad now and again. It is said that he got into mischief at every turn, but that the victims of his antics, always more amused than harmed or offended, remembered him fondly and passed those stories on to future generations. Okay, so Caspar became a wanderer. I don't know if I like that one. Shortly after the war, Shamir gave up the mercenary life and disappeared. Though she was never heard from again, rumors swirled persistently for years of a master archer turned thief who lined her pockets by shaking down all those who preyed upon the innocent. Well, I guess that's a fitting end. I don't know. I don't like that one either. They ended up together. After more than 10 proposals, Dorothea finally relented and agreed to marry Sylvain. Together they inherited Gautier territory. With the support of his wife's council, the new Margrave Gautier was able to improve relations with the Sreng people, and thereby convince the local nobles that relics and crests were no longer an absolute requirement for survival. Due to their efforts, they went down in history as an extraordinary lord and lady. It is said that what finally convinced Dorothea to marry Sylvain was his promise that they would grow old happily and together. They ended up together? I guess it must be whoever they A-ranked first. After the war, Bernadetta renounced her claim to House Farley. She married Ferdinand, the new Duke Eyre, and the two contributed to relief efforts by instituting reforms across their dukedom. Due to the success of those policies, Ferdinand was offered the opportunity to help govern all Fodlan. He accepted, leaving the management of Eyre territory to his wife, while he worked to apply their ideas to the world at large. Since Bernadetta did not like to leave home, Ferdinand's life involved a lot of travel, but it is said he always embarked on his return home with a smile. These two? Oh, I messed up somewhere. Petra returned to her homeland of Brigid and inherited the throne from her grandfather. As ruler, she declared independence from Fodlan and renegotiated Brigid's diplomatic relationships on more equal terms. Next, she introduced industrial practices that were modeled on those of Fodlan, vastly improving her homeland's economy. This rapid development surprised those abroad until it was discovered that the improvements came thanks to the counsel of Petra's husband, Linhard, who had left Fodlan to offer Brigid his talent and insight. It is said that the couple maintained a healthy and affectionate relationship and that they raised many happy children together. And us. Lestel married Felix almost immediately after ascending the throne of the United Kingdom of Fodlan. When it came to matters of governance, Felix often took on duties that would have required his wife to dirty her hands and thus came to be called the Royal Sword. After they accomplished all they had set out to do, the couple left the rule of Fodlan to the next generation, disappearing into obscurity with blades in hand. Thereafter, history only provides unconfirmed reports of a pair of traveling mercenaries who possessed unmatched strength and skill. So we did get to go around mercenarying after all. That's nice. But yeah, Given the choice of who to pick for S ranks, I would not have selected any of those pairings except for our own. But, oh well. They didn't turn out all that bad.
Reach for my hand, I'll soar away into the dawn. No, I wish I could stay here in cherished halls, in peaceful days. I fear the edge of dawn, knowing time betrays. Faint lights pass through colored glass in this beloved place. Silver shines, the world dines, a smile on each face. As joy surrounds, comfort abounds, and I can feel I'm breaking free. For just this moment lost in time, I am finally me. Yet still I hide behind this mask that I have become. My blackened heart, scorched by flames of force I can't run from. As I live out each peaceful day, deep in my soul, oh, I know I can stay. So I wish I could hide away, hold tight to what I love, keep cruel fate at bay. As the rain falls on the path, I chase your shadow. I don't feel a single drop or the ground below. Then you turn to me and I stop before I know. And the lie upon my lips, I let it go. Cross my heart, making vows I know will be betrayed. A sad girl's pleas live only for a breath and then they fade. Don't ever take back your kind hand, lest precious love slip away like time sand. Only we will know all that was lost, scars that we can't erase, show us life's true cost. The blue moonlight cuts across our sight as pure and clear as a ringing bell, reaching for us in the night. As the wind calms my thoughts, I hold strong on this terrace. I feel at peace, carried away by the wind's song. Open the door and walk away. Never give in to the call of yesterday. Memories that made those days sublime. These ruined halls and tombs, stolen time. Reach for
So, is that it? Sorry that it went dark there for a second. It was not supposed to do that. But, I don't know. I guess it's not as long as I thought it was. I thought I had it set to 30 minutes. But anyways, Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem. This, with this, that means I've beaten Fire Emblem, 3 houses, obviously. Fire Emblem Conquest, which I am never ever going to play again. Hated that game so much. I've beaten Shadow Dragon. I've beaten Radiant, or Path of Radiance, Awakening. There were more. Oh, I've also beaten Blazing. Is it Blazing Blade now, or is it Blazing Sword? Whichever that one is. I've beaten Fire Emblem 7, and I've beaten Binding Blade. I was really close to beating Sacred Stones, but then something screwed up and I lost my save file, so I'm gonna have to replay that at some point. But I like it. Fire Emblem 3 Houses is head and shoulders my favorite Fire Emblem game. It's amazing, actually. It's so much more fully realized, which I guess, especially compared to the GameCube and Wii games, there's just way more that they've got to work with. I do plan on buying the DLC. I don't plan on recording any more episodes of this. This is going to be it. I kind of... You guys got a taste of how I tend to play the game. When there's no Mila's Turn Wheel or Divine Pulse, there is quite a lot of resetting. I guess I take it on faith way too much sometimes when the things are going to go well. But, yeah. They should, well, Fire Emblem games, they tend not to stay the same across too many entries. I would not say no to more Fodlan games if they're able to pull off something even greater in the future. 3-4-ish years from now, I'd be completely on board with that. I think the final wave of DLC is set to come out in 5-ish months? Well, it's the end of December, so it should be 4-ish months or something like that. But I kind of wish, if I had known, well, not even that, if we had had access to 25 save files more than 85% of the way through my playthrough, then I'd have definitely sided with Edelgard. As it stands, I didn't have enough save files to go back and actually do the thing properly, so we did still end up killing Rhea, which I was looking forward to, because as I keep saying, I did not like Rhea even from the beginning. Like, that whole thing where she was like, beware, if you turn your backs on the Church of Seiros or do anything to blaspheme my mother, apparently, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna send children after you to kill you if I've got to. Yeah, I was not Rhea's biggest fan. It was crazy. This was quite the adventure. I came into this game completely blind. I knew what the name was, I knew it was on the Switch, and I knew Edelgard's name, and I knew that one of the dudes was named Dimitri and the other dude was named Claude. In the beginning, you can actually hear me mix up who Claude and Dimitri are a couple of times, but outside of that, I thought at the beginning we were going to be picking who we wanted to go, whose path we wanted to be on immediately, and we'd start traveling around with them. The monastery, the Persona / Harry Potter setup, all of that was really surprising to me, which is why I was not able to fully take advantage of everything and get as many people recruited as I really would have been able to had I been faster in cottoning on to all the brand new systems. So, more so than any of them, Seiros, help me, dude. The gambits. We had so many trash gambits at the end because I didn't know that better ones would be available, but oh well. Anyways, Edelgard, definitely would have stuck with her through thick and thin, because I too hated Rhea and everything she stood for. What would I have? If I could have had the ability to pick who would go with who, I think I definitely would have had Petra end up with us. That's who I was gunning for. I think I can say I'm interested in Dorothea and Manuela's S supported ending, but maybe just seeing it, not actually having that be canon to the end of my playthrough because Manuel is too old for her. I didn't really think about who else was gonna get S ranked. Well, I guess Ferdinand and Bernadetta's ended up not being too bad, but I would have liked an ending for Bernadetta where she got to be Count Varley, or Countess Varley or whatever. Is this the end of it? Yeah, Nintendo and Intelligent Systems are the authors of this software for the purpose of copyright. Yeah, Sylvain would definitely have been by himself. I do not like Sylvain. Alois already had a wife, so I guess there's no paired endings for him. The end. Hey! Okay, I know this was kind of rambly towards the end, but those are my honest thoughts. Fire Emblem Three Houses, definitely the best Fire Emblem game, in my opinion, I've played. But like I said, I hated Conquest, so maybe my taste isn't gonna be to a lot of the, I don't know, most Fire Emblem fans. Oh, that's different. But I guess we can... Cleared game data. Okay. But yeah. And now we've got Sothis sleeping peacefully. But that is going to be it. Once more, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this journey through Fire Emblem Three Houses. Whenever they release the next one, you guys know where I'll be. So, bye for now, guys.